Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talk Around Town on this bright and early Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. I'm Mark Despotakis, your host. Today we're going to be talking with Ed Sweeney, the Executive Director of the American Cancer Society Clarion Unit. Ed, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Mark,
How are you doing?
On your show.
Good. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful.
Let's just first of all start with the basics here. Give us an overview, couldn't get that out, of what the American Cancer Society as a whole does.
The American Cancer Society is a nationwide community-based voluntary health organization dedicated to eliminating cancer as a major health problem by preventing cancer, saving lives, and diminishing suffering from cancer through research, education, advocacy, and service.
So it's volunteer.
We are the world's largest volunteer-based health organization. We have 2.5 million volunteers helping us to support this mission with 2,000 staff members in the United States. That's a ratio of 100 volunteers to each staff member.
Well, before we get into, the meat and bones of the discussion here, I think we need to define the terms. I'm wondering if sometimes if cancer maybe is an overused term or people don't really realize what cancer is. Could you give us a definition of cancer?
I certainly can. Cancer is a group of many related diseases. All forms of cancer cause cells in the body to change and grow in an abnormal way. Normal body cells divide and grow in an orderly fashion, but cells changed by cancer can divide and grow out of control. This out-of-control growth damages normal body tissues and disrupts the ability of organs to function as they could. During the early years of a person's life, normal cells divide rapidly until adult size is reached. After that, normal cells of most tissues divide only to replace worn-out tissues and to repair injuries. Cancer cells, however, continue to grow. Often the cells form tumors or lumps that compress, invade, and destroy normal tissue. Unless the cancer is treated, the tumors can grow and spread. If cells break away from such a tumor, they can travel through the bloodstream or the lymph system or other areas of the body. There they may settle and form colony tumors. In their new location, the cancer cells begin growing again. The spread of the tumor to a new site is called metastasis.
Okay, so I get what you're saying there, but we hear cancer all the time. We hear breast cancer. We hear this cancer. What are the most common kinds out there?
The most common kinds of cancer nationally, as well as in Clarion County today, would be prostate cancer. 1 out of 6 men have prostate cancer today. Breast cancer would be number 2, with 1 out of 9 women having breast cancer, and lung cancer being a third, with obviously both men and women being able to contract lung cancer.
Is it true? I've heard this, that men can get breast cancer as well?
That is very true, yes. It's very rare, but yes, men can get breast cancer.
Okay, so let's maybe just talk for those, specifically those top 3. What is the best course of action, let's say, if I'm diagnosed with one of those 3? What's my course of action? And how does then, also on that, how does the American Red Cross help me? I mean, the Cancer Society.
Cancer Society.
Sorry.
If you would be diagnosed with any of the 3 cancers that I've just mentioned, what you would want to do, of course, would be consult with your medical doctor, and you would basically have 3 options on those 3 types of cancer, either chemotherapy, radiation therapy, or surgery.
Okay. And what role does the American Cancer Society play?
We set guidelines for mammograms, for instance, for prostate screening. We are a resource that the community is able to contact us, and we can direct them in the right direction as far as where these resources are available in Clarion County. And then we also have our own programs I'd like to talk about a little bit later in the program.
Okay. Cancer, it seems to be one of these very, very difficult diseases. I think I read somewhere today, the second leading killer in the United States.
That's exactly correct, Mark.
Why is it so hard to treat?
Well, cancer is actually a collection of over 100 different diseases, all characterized by the abnormal growth of cells. That's part of the problem, but also add to that, it's very difficult to diagnose some of the types of cancers. Without going for your screenings and medical checkups, you are increasing your risk factors of developing the various types of cancer. But particularly lung cancer, for instance, it's very difficult to diagnose. As a result, the damage is almost always done by the time the person learns they have some of these types of cancers.
Why do we find some that are so difficult to diagnose? Because they're hidden in our body? Or, why is that?
Well, we're not really sure on how the different types of cancers act. They all act differently and respond differently to different types of treatments.
Oh, okay, I see. Looking at the demographics of cancer, is there a certain group that we find more susceptible to certain types of cancer?
Yes, for instance, there has been recent medical evidence stating that women are more susceptible to lung cancer, for instance, because of the number of a specific type of gene in their body. That was just announced last week on national news. Dependent upon your family history, this would determine your risk factor for getting various types of cancer. If you have a history, for instance, of lung cancer in your family, don't smoke. If you have a history of breast cancer in your family, for instance, get your annual mammograms, your annual yearly clinical exams, and do your monthly breast self-exams, particularly for women over 40 or other women who are at high risk. Prostate cancer for men over 40 or men who do have a family history of prostate cancer, we suggest that they go for their annual PSA test.
You know, I'm pretty young. I don't really have a family history of cancer, but what can I do to maybe help prevent it? Because, I mean, well, first of all, am I correct? I'm still susceptible, right?
That's exactly correct.
Okay.
Everyone in our population is susceptible to cancer.
So what can I do now that'll help me prevent it in years to come?
Well, Mark, here's the good news. We do know that today 66% of the incidence of cancer, that's the number of people getting cancer today, and 66% of the mortality rate, that's the number of people dying from cancer today, 60% of the incidence and mortality of cancer are lifestyle related. Specifically, 33% of them caused by smoking and lung cancer, another 33% caused by lack of proper nutrition and lack of physical exercise. So to answer your question, don't smoke, eat 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, and get at least a half hour to 1 hour of physical activity a day. No matter if you're more at high risk for the various types of cancer or if you're not at risk, this will decrease your risk factor of getting various types of cancer.
Now, I don't smoke, but, you know, I have a lot of friends that do, and I've always been someone, an advocate of people to stop smoking, mainly because it annoys me, and I don't want the secondhand smoke. But, you know, I always say to them, the standard line is, well, you're giving yourself lung cancer. And people generally who smoke, they're so addicted to it, I think, that they don't seem to really care much about that.
Well, I don't know if it's that they don't care that much about that, Mark. It's a situation where we know that nicotine is the most addictive substance on earth.
Right.
That's more addictive than heroin or cocaine. They just can't quit.
Right. Well, then, you know, what can you say to those people who can't quit, you know, and to help them prevent cancer? Is there any way? I mean, obviously they're not assured of getting it because they smoke, but is there anything that can be done?
To help them to quit?
Right. Or I mean, to help them, you know, not get cancer even if they're still smoking. I mean, what are the other options besides eating healthy? I mean, is that it?
Eating healthy, physical activity, limit your intake of red meat, alcohol. Women, for instance, who have a history of breast cancer in their family, we know that a few drinks a week is too many drinks of alcohol. We suggest to lower your risk factor of getting breast cancer, limit your alcoholic intake to 1 or 2 drinks per week. Okay. So there are various ways you can reduce your risk factors.
I didn't realize that.
But particularly quitting smoking. Now, it's a very difficult battle. We are working with the Nicotrol people and Nicoderm, the patch people and the pill people, but we're have very high expectations about a new drug called Zyban. We know that tied in with a smoking cessation program, this drug Zyban, which has to be bought by prescription, it will tremendously increase your possibility of quitting smoking, even compared to the patch or the gum.
Would you say that maybe that smoking and nicotine and cigarettes are your biggest enemy in the fight against cancer?
Well, we've been involved for over 40 years with what we call the tobacco wars, and with Big Tobacco. There's been some recent developments. Approximately a year ago, Big Tobacco agreed to release to 10 states the largest cash hit settlement in the history of the United States, $230 billion. That's billion with a B. Pennsylvania is one of the 10 states involved with this class action lawsuit that has been alleviated by Big Tobacco. Pennsylvania will get $11.3 billion. Right. Governor Ridge already has $227 million in his coffers, with the next check expected in April. This settlement will be done over a 25-year period. Our battle is not so much now with big tobacco. Our focus is now on where that $11.3 billion will be spent.
Mm-hmm.
We have marched on the Capitol in Harrisburg 4 months ago. We've joined a coalition with the American Heart Association and the American Lung Association. What do we want? We do not want a penny of this money for ourselves, but we want 100% of that money to be used for public health initiatives, 30% of that 100% to be used for tobacco prevention and control issues. Last week, Mark, Governor Ridge did announce that the money will be used for public health initiatives. He broke it down into various aspects of health programs that will be implemented in the future. The battle is now with our state legislature. Governor Ridge has turned this over to the legislators. Believe me, everyone has their hands out. We do not want this money to be used for bridges, roads, or new stadiums. We want it to be used for public health initiatives.
And I think that's a sentiment echoed by a lot of people. Just last week on this program, we had State Senator Mary Jo White on, and she was speaking of how, she would like to see money or revenue from money of, say they were to put this money in a trust fund, and maybe that revenue to go toward public health initiatives. I think that seems the way...
Governor Ridge decided last week 10% of the money will be used, allocated to exactly what you did say. Some will be used for research, 40% will be used for uninsured residents of Pennsylvania. We're very excited about this good news. It will improve the health in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Okay, I'm going to take a break in here. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more with Ed Sweeney, the Executive Director of the American Cancer Society Clarion. We'll be back right after this on Talk Around Town.
91.7 WCUC, your home for today's best music.
Same resolute, get the money. Ain't where we been, it's where we gon' be. Get ready to hum on rain sign, cause a person that know the words is hard to find.
Today's best music. Today's best music.
Keep me hanging around this town for a while. I've been falling around this old town too long.
Today's best music, 91.7 WCUC.
Imagine if your bank account automatically put money aside for your future. Hey, thanks. With the new Easy Saver plan for U.S. savings bonds, saving money is that easy. You can purchase EE savings bonds or the new inflation-indexed I-bond automatically from your checking or savings account month after month. To enroll, call toll-free 1-877-811-SAVE. The new U.S. Savings Bonds Easy Saver Plan. It's as easy as it gets.
You may not have the potential to make the Pro Bowling Association, but why not practice? Listen every Tuesday for your chance to win 2 free games to the Clarion Bowl Arena, brought to you by the station that gives back to its listeners, WCUC.
Welcome back to Talk Around Town. I'm Mark Despidakis. Today we are here speaking with Ed Sweeney, the Executive Director of the American Cancer Society Clarion Unit. Ed, we were talking before about what cancer is. What are the treatment opportunities that are out there now, and how fast are we advancing in ways to fight cancer?
Well, to answer the first part of your question, Mark, what are the treatment opportunities out there now? In past years to the present, when someone is diagnosed with cancer, they basically had 3 different treatment options. One would be chemotherapy, one would be radiation therapy, and the third would be surgery. Well, let me tell you, Mark, 30 years ago, a gentleman by the name of Dr. Julian Falkman went to the federal government with a concept that he believed would conquer cancer. The federal government laughed at him, would not release any money. The medical community has been laughing at Dr. Jonah Falkman for over 30 years. The American Cancer Society has financed Dr. Falkman for over 30 years with some of our research money. Last year, Dr. Falkman announced to the world what his treatment is. It's called angiogenesis. What is angiogenesis? Whenever a tumor grows, it sends out signals to attract blood vessels, which will allow the tumor to continue growing. We introduced one chemical called endostan, which stops the tumor from sending these signals out. We introduced another chemical called angiostan, and that shrinks the tumor. Last year, Dr. Falkman announced this to the world and said he had 100% success with angiogenesis in the treatment of rats and rodents. Well, unfortunately, Mark, the treatment of the history of cancer research has been littered by treatments which were 100% successful on rats and rodents, but had no effect on human beings. Dr. Folkman, later in the week last year, announced to the world again, hey, wait a minute, you're jumping the gun. All I have told you is these experiments have been 100% successful on rats and rodents. We need to test them on human beings. Well, Mark, with my own eyes, on 60 Minutes 3 months ago, half of the program on Sunday evening was devoted to angiogenesis. It appears it is working on human beings. And other national news publications I have witnessed as recent as 3 weeks ago talking about angiogenesis as the treatment option for the new millennium. So we're very excited about this new treatment possibility.
So, I mean, that's out there with chemotherapy out there. What, is there any drugs out there?
Oh, a multitude of drugs, which that's basically what chemotherapy is. It's introducing various chemicals and drugs into your system. There's a multitude of drugs.
Okay. Are cancer cases on the rise, or is it just that we're hearing about it more because of the advance in the fight on cancer?
It's not only the advance in the fight against cancer, but I believe, Mark, that more people are conscious of our struggle. To answer your question, believe it or not, for the first time in recorded history of cancer, the incidence of cancer, which again is the amount of people getting cancer, is on a decrease. And mortality rate for cancer, the number of people dying from cancer, is also on a decrease. We're very excited about this. Why is this happening? We believe because of our early detection and prevention programs.
Okay, let's move on to maybe what your chapter does. You are just for the Clarion County area?
I have actually, Mark, I have Clarion County and Indiana County.
So what are the projects that you do in your chapter?
At the Clarion unit, we offer various programs, as we do in every county in the United States. One would be a program called Reach to Recover, where we have trained one-year post-op breast cancer survivors. When the hospital or local doctor's office diagnoses a woman with breast cancer, we have these trained Reach to Recovery representatives visit the women at home. Who better can talk to them about the disease than someone who's already experienced it? Mm-hmm. We also have a program called Road to Recovery, where we have volunteer drivers who will transport cancer patients back and forth to cancer facilities at no charge by our volunteer drivers. We instituted a program 6 months ago in Clarion County called Look Good, Feel Better. This is a wonderful program where we give the woman a wig. We give them a kit that has over almost $200 worth of cosmetics in it. And we have trained cosmetologists right in Clarion County. Cher Servo's Salon would be our cosmetologist for Clarion County. And on an ongoing basis, they offer a 3-hour program to show these women how to fix their wigs, how to make eyebrows, how to put color back into their face. Then they take the wig and the kit of cosmetics home, and it truly does make them look good and feel better than before they had cancer.
That sounds wonderful.
It's a wonderful program, yes. We have transportation reimbursement. If the patient doesn't need a volunteer driver, if a loved one, a family member, or neighbor is able to transport them back and forth for cancer treatment, we will reimburse them a certain dollar amount for that mileage. We have a wig bank where patients are able to come in, and if they don't like the wigs we have at our wig bank at our Clarion office, they can go out and buy a wig for up to $100 and we'll reimburse them. So we have various programs that truly on a daily basis we do service the community, the Clarion community, with American Cancer Society programs.
So where are you guys getting the funding to help these people?
All of our funding, Mark, is through various fundraising efforts that we have. We do not depend at all on government, state, or local tax money. In that manner, we can keep independent and continue the struggle against cancer in the manner that we see fit. We have various fundraising campaigns. For instance, Daffodil Days
We've all heard of that.
Is the week of March 20th. I'm very proud to tell you, Mark, I work for the American Cancer Society Pennsylvania Division. When the Pennsylvania Division of the American Cancer Society places its daffodil order, it becomes the largest single flower order in the world. We have our Relay for Life, which will be held in August in Keystone School District this year. It's become the largest fundraising event of any organization in the world. We truly believe the Relay for Life, which is a 12-hour marathon, we believe it will be the sword that will allow us to cut down cancer. We have a Christmas wrap at the Clarion Mall, typically the month before Christmas, where we raise quite a bit of money. We sell golf passes and send mailings out to various potential donors. In this manner, we raise the money for the Clarion unit of the American Cancer Society.
So how can people get involved if they want to come out and help you in your mission?
They're welcome to call our Clarion office, which is located at the old Clarion Hospital on 214 7th Avenue, Clarion. Phone number being 814-226-7261. Ask for Ed Sweeney. We are always looking for volunteers to conclude the mission that we have against cancer.
And what about some maybe cancer patients out there? Would that be the same venue that they would need to take to get in touch
Yes,
with
that's exactly correct. They would use the same number should they be interested in obtaining any of our services. Please call 814-226-7261.
I'm okay. Say I'm someone who is out in the community, and I want to come and volunteer, but I don't know that I'm qualified. What things are there that I can do or that you can train me to do?
We need office help. We need people to help sell our daffodils. We need planning committee members to help plan and coordinate our Relay for Life fundraising event. We need volunteers typically the month before Christmas for our Christmas wrap. We need volunteer drivers, things of this nature. I think it would be best if the interested volunteer would just give us a buzz. There's various opportunities. With or without training, we need help from the community.
All right, well, Ed Sweeney, Executive Director of the American Cancer Society Clarion Unit, thank you for joining us today, and good luck in the work that you do.
Thank you, Mark. You have a nice day. Thank you for having me on your
you
show.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. We'll be back right after this on Talk Around Town.
People want more interaction with the animals at the Pittsburgh Zoo. So we've invited noted primate specialist Dr. Claude Bramblett.
Hello, Dave.
To talk about communicating with the gorillas. So, Doctor, what's a typical gorilla communication? Are you okay?
That's a gorilla communication, Dave. You try it.
Me? No.
Come on. Not bad, not bad.
Really?
No.
What was I communicating?
Back off, Buster. That's my banana.
Wow, back off.
It's a rough translation, of course.
See, I don't want to pick a fight with a gorilla.
Good point. Say there's a poacher hiding in the bush.
Poacher hiding in the bush.
And you want to warn the other gorillas.
I want to warn the others. I'm with you.
You go, rah, rah. Your turn.
Okay. Blah.
Remember that poacher, Dave. The gorillas are counting on you, Dave.
The Pittsburgh Zoo. Show off your communication skills with one of the largest gorilla families in the country.
Woo! I don't know. I have this strange urge to scratch my...
Oh, no. That would invite an attack.
Oh.
You get to the top, get hooked in, and then you look over the edge. I was like, no way am I jumping off this tower. I'm staying right here. I'm like, am I ever going to be good enough to be a Marine? When it was all said and done, watching the color guard raise the American flag, I thought, I am a United States Marine.
PFC Keith Falk approved. He could be one of us. Can you? Call 1-800-MARINES.
91.7 WCUC, your home for today's best music.
Somewhere, when the sun begins to shine, I hear a song from another time, and lead away.
Today's best music.
A little bit of Mary all night long, a little bit of Jessica, here I am, a little bit of you makes me your man.
Today's best music.
'Cause she's so high above me, she's so lovely, she's so
Today's best music. 91.7 WCUC.
Okay, back here on Talk Around Town. Once again, I want to thank Ed Sweeney, Executive Director of the American Cancer Society Clarion Unit, for joining us. Very informative show today. Thank him for joining us. And for my producer, Mike Scott, I'm Mark Despotakis. Have yourself a good weekend, and we will see you back here next week at 6 a.m. on Wednesday. See ya.